च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Last Sunday, we studied the 3 verses, 4th, 5th and 6th of the 7th chapter, which emphasized 2 factors in order to explain the human situation. One is the object, the other is the subject. One is the body, the other is the mind. And I quoted from modern neurologists who also proclaim today that with only a single factor, the body, they cannot explain human behavior. We need the second factor, namely the mind. In Shankara's commentary on these verses, we find he has used 2 words. One is called kshetra, the other is called kshetratnya. Later on in the 13th chapter, Krishna will deal with this subject. And the translation is beautiful. Kshetra means the field. Kshetratnya means the knower of the field. The field alone is not enough. Somebody who knows it. And the word field is today a very important word in nuclear physics. The whole world is a field of energy. The entire manifested universe is a field of energy. That field of energy is observed by an observer, a self, a consciousness. There you get that second factor, which is coming more and more into science. And I said in the next few decades, this investigation will become well established, that there is an observer along with the observed universe. And that observer is a unique entity. It is infinite in nature, but within the body it looks as very finite, very limited. That's why in the Upanishads they made the equation, Atman is Brahman. The Atman in you is the Atman of the universe. They are one and the same. Today's science will come to that conclusion when it begins to recognize the importance of the factor of consciousness, of mind in our experience. But that is coming slowly, steadily. Having said this, in the 4th and 5th and 6th verses, we go on to the 7th verse of the 7th chapter. Krishna makes a very great utterance there, which has inspired our Indian thinking. Krishna, identifying himself as that supreme reality. He uses the word I, therefore. I exist in all things. We can also say the truth is the same. We also exist. Only we don't know. That's all. We are limited. We are separate from each other. But Bhagavan can say that. Therefore he said, Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. It's a very profound verse. There is nothing higher than myself, that ultimate reality, infinite pure consciousness which we call Brahman. There is nothing parataram, superior, higher, nanyat, kinchidasti. There is nothing higher than that reality. That's why in the beginning of the chapter he had said, I am going to tell you the totality of reality. Nothing outside of it is there. That consists of these two factors, object, subject, or kshetra, kshetrajna, or body and mind as we say here, material universe, and the one who sees this universe, who knows this universe. Therefore, this unity is the ultimate. Beyond that there is nothing. Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. The next line is marvelous. Mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. The whole universe is strung in me like pearls in a string. A string runs through all the pearls to make a garland. You cannot see the string, you see the pearls. That is the Antaryami, the one that is in the heart of all things, extremely subtle, not visible to the senses as the pearls are. But the pearls are held together in the garland by that invisible thread of being. This is called the thread of being. Brahman means thread of being. This is the language we use. Sat. Sat is Brahman. Om Tat Sat. That is Brahman. That being runs through all this becoming. The world is called the world of becoming. That is being. So, my sarvamidam protam. Idam means this manifested universe. Sarvam entirely as a thread that runs through all the pearls to make a garland. We have this teaching in Vedanta, and that makes a tremendous difference. What you call the universality of outlook of Indian culture comes from this teaching. We can see a human being from the outside, his color, we can judge him from the color, or his stature, or many other variable attributes of the individual. They are all variable, but there is one invariable attribute of all individuals in the world. What is that? The thread that runs through all of them. There we are all one. So judge a person from that point of view. That came to India very early in our cultural history, the Vedic period. And the result is, we began to evaluate man not in terms of his variable externals, but in terms of that invariable internal reality of the self. Man is essentially the Atman. That is the basis of the universality of our culture and outlook. Throughout the ages, we produced outstanding sages and thinkers who upheld this idea of universality, not separateness. We are all separate from the sensory point of view. From deep down if you go, we are all one. That is the Advaitic vision that came to us very early in history, that made India a land of universal sympathy, a land of toleration and understanding. We cannot sufficiently thank these great sages who gave such a profound vision to a whole people belonging to not a tiny island, but a subcontinent of this great country. And today the world is seeking this very vision. We want that human vision, mankind awareness, not limited understanding of man. So Krishna's this statement is very, very important. Matta karataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam. Mai, in me, sarvamidam protam. Sutre manigana iva. Mani means gem. Manigana iva. So many pieces of gem. They're all strung together in a garland. And the thread, sutra, means thread in Sanskrit. The Sutratman, divine reality is called Sutratman, Antaratman, Antaryami, the one inside all. We are all separate, but the thread unites all of us. It is just like in political language you will say, we are all separate, but as citizen of India, we are all one. That one republican status, we are citizens, that makes us all one. Otherwise, we are all separate. But the other is a universal vision. This was a profound discovery. You find it in the Upanishads. One of the great passages of the Bhagavad Upanishad is on Bhagavan as the Antaryamin, the inner self of all, regulating everything from within. Take a cell. What regulates that cell? Something from within itself. We are trying to find out what is that something in genetics and all that. We say it is DNA, RNA, all that you can do. These are all what we call observable phenomena. But go still deeper if you can. You will really find nothing but the divine as the inner energy that what you call manipulates the entire processes in that living cell, in this body, in this universe, everywhere. That is the one ultimate reality. That is the idea that in a small verse Krishna expresses here in the Bhagavad Upanishad. It is a whole para. Yap prathivyam tishtan prathivyadantaro yam prithivena veda yasya prithvi shariram soyamatma antaryam yamritaha. Very majestic utterance. Yajnavalkya makes it there. He who exists in the earth, whom the earth does not know, whose body is the earth, who remaining in the earth regulates all the activities of the earth, that is the Antaryami, that is the immortal self. Every other aspect of the earth is mortal, but this one thing inside is the immortal dimension. Similarly, the example of Vayu or other things are taken. And finally, yes, sarvesha bhuteshu tishtan, that which exists in all beings, and then all beings do not know him, but who sitting within regulates all beings. So Atma Antaryami Amrita, that is this Atman, the Antaryami, the Amrita, the immortal one. That is the famous Antaryami Brahmana of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Shankara's commentaries on these passages are marvelous. Such deep penetration you will find there, and such simple, beautiful Sanskrit prose. Here you see this statement, Mai Sarvamidam Protam, Sutre Manigana Iva. Nobody is outside the touch of the divine. Nobody is outside. That is the universal dimension of the ultimate reality. Everything is included in it. That's why good, bad, as well as sinners, saints, or the cosmos around you, they are all included in that primordial reality which we call Brahman, which is not some inert matter, as today's cosmology will say now. It is the principle of intelligence itself, principle of consciousness itself. Jnanam is its nature. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Taittiriya Upanishad will say, Brahman is Satyam, truth. Jnanam, consciousness. Anantam, infinity. That's the nature of Brahman, which is the primordial stuff of this universe. As the primordial stuff, it is there in every product of the universe manifestation, every product of cosmic evolution. The Atman is ever present, hidden, not openly visible to the sensory system. And it is the great function of human knowledge to seek out that hidden reality. We seek it out in the external world through physical science. We seek it out in man, in the body of man, through biology, through various departments of biology. But totality of the universe, when you come to the highest spiritual perception. Those who sages, who realize the truth, they are able to understand, yes, I see the same Atman in every being. Such statements are there, very, very impressive to read, as if a profound truth is being expounded without any kind of doubt that you get in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. When a sage discovered this truth and he looked around, he found that infinite reality is there in every being. Then he said, Tvam Stri, Tvam Pumanasi, Tvam Kumara Vatava Kumari, Tvam Jirno Dandena Vanchasi, Tvam Jato Bhavasi, Vishyato Mukha. Tvam Stri, thou art the woman. Tvam Pumanasi, thou art the man. Tvam, you are a child, a little Kumara, as well as Kumari, a boy or a girl. You are also that old man tottering on a stick. Tvam Jirno Dandena Vanchasi, Tvam Jato Bhavasi, Vishyato Mukha. You manifest in this universe in millions of forms. It is all you we find in all of them. That is the highest vision. The vision of the highest spiritual poetry you will find in one Mandukya, in Mundaka Upanishad passage. You will find this idea. This sage discovered that Atman within himself, and he looked out and found the same Atman everywhere. So he described it as Anandarupam Amrutam Yat Vibhati, of the nature of infinite bliss, immortal, that manifests in everything in the world around you. This particular verse inspired poet Rabindranath Tagore, and in many of his writings you will find reference to this. It is a poetic, spiritual vision. The way of putting it is also the same. Poetry can see beauty where our common eyes cannot see. It can penetrate a little. And the greater the poetry, more that penetration and more the beauty of expressing that experience. Ordinary people can see only gross things, prosaic events around them. But a poet can see much deeper. That's why the word Kavi in Sanskrit is the name also for God. God is described as Kavi. Kavi in the Gita itself, you will read it. Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram. God is a Kavi, the supreme poet. He can see far ahead. Krantadarshi is Shankara's definition of Kavi, who can see far ahead, who can see through a thing. That's called Kavi. And that's why we respect poets and their poetry. The higher the poet, the more deep is his penetration into human experience and the way he communicates the same thing. I often like that particular verse in English characterizing the greatness of Shakespeare. Why Shakespeare is so much respected. All over the world people study, even now after 500 years, we study him, we act his dramas, we quote his words, some of the most precious expressions you get in Shakespearean literature. What is the speciality about Shakespeare? That is put into a small verse. It says, the poem hangs on the berry bush, when comes the poet's eye. If the poet's eye comes, you can see on the berry bush also poetry. So the poem hangs on the berry bush, when comes the poet's eye. The street begins to masquerade when Shakespeare passes by. When you and I pass by, there is no poetry, there is no drama in nature. But when Shakespeare's eye falls upon a petty experience, it becomes high-class poetry. What a beautiful expression. Huh? So, we need to develop a little bit of that poetic vision. God is the supreme poet. And these poets have got a bit of that poetic vision of the divine. The greater the poet, the more he would have taken in that divine vision. This is what we have to understand. In India, we have always given high place to this kind of poets who can see far ahead. So, this idea that the Lord is present in all of us, in everything in this universe, as its inner self, and it manipulates everything in that by remaining there. No external force is acting upon it, but a force within itself, the divine itself. One of the most scientific ideas is explain any event from the nature of the thing itself, not invoke some external deity, external power. Just like something happens, a ghost has done it. In our superstitious way, we have to say like that. No scientist will accept it. See the thing itself. So the man is gone off his mind. So we study the nervous system, we study the brain, what is wrong there, and try to find out. Within the system itself, not something external. External influences are there, but you have to explain it in terms of how those influences introduce elements within the system, and then you study the system. Then it becomes a scientific explanation. Any external explanation is not scientific explanation. So we saw that everything ultimately can be explained in terms of that subtlest of reality, namely pure consciousness. A pure consciousness is present in everything, in the heart of things. That consciousness is functioning through various other agencies within that particular organism or particular object. But to see that consciousness, we have to go beyond our sensory level. No senses can ever reveal this truth that has been repeatedly said, and you cannot quantify that particular reality. Everything else can be quantified. Any material force or material object you can explain in terms of quantity, where mathematics has a part to play. But when you go to this particular reality of the self, quantification has absolutely no place there. Where the senses cannot go, quantity cannot become a criterion. This is Vedantic idea. Many scientists accept this idea today, and therefore tremendous advances are going on in various parts of Europe or America, Australia, to take science from the visible and the tangible to something that lies above. We know something is there. We don't know what it is. We want to discover it. That kind of effort is going on all over the world. And as I said last Sunday, every such effort and success in that effort only reconfirms what Vedanta has been holding on this subject for ages as a result of deep meditation. Going into the depth of the human spirit, they discovered this profound truth. Manu says, after speaking about the spiritual nature of man, our spiritual unity of the universe, Manu says in his Manusmriti, Dhyanikam sarvamed etat, yad etat abhishabditam. Whatever I have said so far, all this is the product of dhyana, deep meditation. They could go through into the heart of things through that meditation. The heart of man is in touch with the heart of everything in this universe. If you don't know how to go into the depth of your own heart, you cannot see the depth of anybody's heart. The more interior you become, the more interior you can penetrate into other people as well. That's why great sages can see which you and I cannot see. They can see through the divine sparks in you. They can see. Jesus could see that the sinner is only an external sinner. Internally, that sinner is absolutely pure. Her Atman is absolutely pure, ever free. He could see that. This is the language of philosophy and spirituality. Vedanta emphasizes this point again and again. So, in the coming decades, we will be getting more and more of reconfirmation of this profound vision of the Vedic sages, and that is what is current today. It never becomes old. It is always fresh. It is always fresh. Truth is never old. Truth is always fresh. If there is a dogma or a creed, that is sometimes thrown away as obsolete, not at all worthwhile, no currency value. But if it is a truth, it is always the same, universal. This is how the Vedas discovered some profound truths about man. When you speak of Veda, it means that a set of knowledge discovered by profound investigation into the heart of man. And they discovered these truths and they proclaimed it and they are still current. After 4,000-5,000 years, these truths are always there. We gave the name to it. The whole thing constitutes Sanatana Dharma, eternal Dharma, philosophy of the eternal, perennial philosophy, etc. That's the language we have used to designate this wonderful legacy from the past in this great country. Then Krishna goes on into the beautiful idea in what way I am present everything in this universe. A few samples are given in this chapter. A few more are given in the 10th chapter. We call it Vibhuti Yoga. Bhagavan's Vibhuti. He is there, but he is also present in all the manifested universe. So a few samples of that presence is given in this chapter just now from verse 8. It says here, Rasoham apsu kavanteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoho pranavas sarva vedeshu shabdakhe pavrisham runu. I am the stupidity in water, rasa. In waters, I am the rasa, that taste. Secondly, I am the radiance in the moon and the sun, that brilliance that is there. Prabha, Prabhasmi Shati Suryayo. Among all the Vedas, I am the Omkara, Pranava. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. Shabda Khe, in Akasha, in space, and sound. Sound is propagated through the space and the sound there. Paurusham Mradu. In human beings, I am that Paurusha, that kind of strength and manliness, courage, etc. And that anybody who has this, know that presence of the divine is there. That he will say later on, another great verse. And then, Punyo Gandha Prithivyancha. In the earth, the principle is Gandha, good smell. Punyo Gandha, very auspicious smell. And in the earth in the form of auspicious smell. Tejas Chasmi Vibhavasau, in fire and brilliance. Tejas. Then, Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu, among all these beings and the principle of life, principle of intelligence. Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu. And then, Tapaschasmi Tapasvishu, among those who are practicing tapas and the very principle of tapas that inspires them to perform this tapas to achieve great things. Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam Vidhi Partha Sanadhanam. Arjuna, understand me as the seed energy of everything in this universe. Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam. The seed energy of everything is myself. Other aspects of seed are only secondary seeds. Primary seed is the divine consciousness itself. Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam Vidhi Partha Sanatanam, that eternal seed. These seeds come and go. That is the eternal seed. Buddhir Buddhimatam Asmi, among intelligent people and the very principle of intelligence. Buddhir Buddhimatam Asmi. Tejas Tejasvinamaham, among the heroic people and the heroism, the spirit of heroism, and they are in them. In that way you can see God in the manifested universe. Not only He is transcendental, He is also immanent. He is there, every product of this cosmic evolution. Balam Balavatam Kama Raga Vivakjita. And the strength among the strong people. What kind of strength? Kama Raga Vivakjita. Without So, Chief Guest, on behalf of all of you and of myself, for giving us this stress on the relevance of the message of Sri Ramakrishna and Swamiji for our nation. He has given us the idea that Swamiji expressed himself: man-making education, man-making religion, nation-building faith. That was the message which Swamiji took from our great culture, from his great master Sri Ramakrishna, and scattered in the various towns and villages of India nearly 90 years ago. Our youth need that message today. That was highly stressed by our chief guest, and I am very thankful to her. All of you also are thankful to her for giving this orientation to our education. Apology was made. She said, "You must speak a little more." I was here only to thank. But I shall speak a few minutes because it's a wonderful subject. All of you have come in thousands to this holy premises on this holy occasion. And you will be surprised to know and happy to know that this very evening, in hundreds of places, thousands of people are gathered together to speak and listen to subject of Sri Ramakrishna. Go to foreign countries, everywhere you will find a tremendous attraction of Sri Ramakrishna to the people. Just yesterday I was reading that weekly journal called The Week. There's a big cover up there. The message of Ramakrishna Vivekananda spreading all over the world by itself. Nobody goes. The message spreads itself. I myself did not know all the details. South American countries, East European countries, European countries, Japan, all these writers is there. Now what is it that attracts all these people to Sri Ramakrishna? You ask that very one question. We have plenty of creeds, plenty of dogmas, plenty of beliefs, plenty of rituals. Ramakrishna never advocated any one of them. In fact, Ramakrishna said, praying to the Divine Mother, "Mother, let not a creed be expounded through my mouth." There is plenty of creed. By creed you don't change yourself. All of us are religious, but we see a type of religion today in the world and also in India, which can combine with a good deal of selfishness, wickedness, violence, everything. How can religion combine with all this? That's what we have today. The amount of evil, the amount of corruption, caste conflict, communal conflict, and lot of piety, lot of religion. That religion you won't get from Ramakrishna. But if you go to him, you will get pure religion, pure spirituality. What is that spirituality? That is the central teaching of Vedanta, Sanatana Dharma, and all the world religions, that in every one of us there is a spiritual dimension. God is hidden in man. There is a profound truth of the spiritual dimension of every religion. Study Sufi writings, study the writings of Christian mystics, Buddhist, Hindu, every mystic has said that they discovered the divine in themselves. God is hidden in every human being. Sri Ramakrishna put it beautifully. Every jiva is Shiva. Service of the jiva is the worship of Shiva. That profound teaching was spread throughout the world by Swami Vivekananda. What does it mean to you and to me if there is divine spark present in all of us? That is a subject we must discuss and try to work out in life and character. Now there is so much of oil below Godavari, Krishna basins, etc. But it was there till now. We never got it. We never became rich until you have the technology by which you bring up this oil. You don't get wealth at all. Similarly, there may be God living in you and me, but unless I manifest it, I don't get any blessing out of it at all. That technique by which you manifest the divine within and develop a high character, that is the message you get from Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda. Whatever rituals you like, you follow. Whatever religious ceremonies you like, you do. You go to temple, you go to church, you go to mosque, you go to anywhere. But ask one question every time you go to these holy places. Have I become better? Have I grown spiritually? That is what Sri Ramakrishna stresses all the time. There is a spiritual growth in mind. Out of that will come high character. Out of that will come work efficiency. Out of that will come tremendous spirit of service. All these evils which the governor referred to, why are they there? We have no character. We have no humanistic feeling. We are self-centered. Therefore, all these are there. But once we develop our high humanistic attitude, develop high character energy, all these evils in society will be simply brushed aside. That development of man must come to us today. We just develop that capacity to handle the evils in society. Today we don't have the capacity. We are so self-centered. We are having what you call the crudest materialism which the world has ever seen now practiced in India. Even Western materialism is far better than our materialism. They have, along with materialism, a concern for man, the spirit of duty, punctuality, efficiency. We don't have all those things. That's why it's the crudest materialism today. And yet, plenty of piety, plenty of religiosity. When Ramakrishna says in one of his teachings, beware of the showy, pious person. In that language in Bengali, he says, those who put tulsi in the ear, beware of him. He's a dangerous man, he says. He is showing off his religion. He has no character. He has no real love for man. So Ramakrishna said this, beware of the one who put tulsi in the ear. Why did he say so? We have plenty of such people. So the religion, noisy religion, no character, no humanistic concern. Why should these evils remain in India? Because we are not good human beings. We are only candidates to humanity. One great French writer said, we are not men. We are candidates to humanity. We have to become men in the true sense of the term. That is the message you get from Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, and the Holy Mother. You may belong to any religion, any sect, any sampradaya. You may be without religion, atheist, agnostic, but character, humanistic feelings are universal. The spirit of service is the most universal religion. That is where Swami Vivekananda gives you a profound message, and that message came to him from Sri Ramakrishna himself. Love and serve every person. Don't ask any question about his caste or creed or sex. That development must come in this great country, and it will come. Ramakrishna did not come just for like a tourist coming to a country. He had a tremendous mission. He had a tremendous vision of human greatness that has to be translated into living form, not only in India, but also in all parts of the world. And you'll be extremely happy to know how thousands of people read a few pages from Ramakrishna and feel so elevated, so strengthened. This is going on all over the world. I go every year abroad and I see what tremendous inspiration comes to people through reading Ramakrishna Vivekananda. In that article in the Week magazine, you will find there, we go to churches in England, all are empty. Nobody comes here because they are not interested in the creed and dogma that is given to people. But they go to Ramakrishna. They read a book of Ramakrishna's teachings. They find wonderful. There you get the bread of life, not a stone of dogma and creed. Our people also must ask that question today. How can I become spiritually nourished? Not by some ritual or ceremony. I must grow spiritually. I must manifest the divine within me, even a little. A fraction of that manifestation might cause a tremendous character change. Svalpamatyasya dharmasya prayate mahato bhaya. Even an ounce of this dharma will save us from great fear, says Krishna in the second chapter of the Gita. When you open the Gospel of Ramakrishna, that extraordinary book, the first book I read as a boy of 14 and a half, it created a revolution in my mind. So, the creation of a new type of human being. He has seen through you. He himself said, I have seen all of you as Narayana himself. You don't know the truth, but I'm telling you, you are the divine Narayana. You are divine in your true nature. Only you don't know the truth. Try to know it. Try to live it. That's the teaching Ramakrishna gives here. You get it in the Upanishad. One sage discovered this profound truth in meditation. The divine in his own heart he discovered. He looked out, he found the same divine in every being. When he sang that famous song in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Tvam Sri, Tvam Kumanasi, Tvam Kumara Utava Kumari, Tvam Sri, because it comes from lived experience, not mere thought. He has experienced this truth. Thou art a man, thou art a woman, thou art a youth, thou art a young girl, thou art an old man tottering on a stick, thou art born in these various forms. That is the vision that Sri Ramakrishna had in our time. That is the truth about you and about me. A man like Schrodinger, the nuclear scientist, is so fascinated by this teaching from the Chandogya Upanishad. Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi, you are that, you are that. You are not this tiny organic system. You are not this creaturely individual. There is something profound about you. Try to realize a bit of that truth. He loves this wonderful teaching. Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. Ramakrishna today summons us to that awareness. Whatever you do, your work in the secretariat, work in the professions, work in the field, work in the factory, your worship and meditation, all this must ultimately lead you to that spiritual realization. That is how life is led for a purpose, with a direction, not simply going round and round. That going round and round is called samsara in Sanskrit. Samsara means going round and round. I used to call Delhi Connaught Place like samsara. Go round and round, you miss your way in Delhi Connaught Place. It took 1 year for me to understand my way there. This world is like that samsara. Go round and round without a direction. Why? You have the brain to give you an insight into that direction. Try to utilize it. There is a direction of human evolution to manifest the divine that is within. This human body is the best organism which can have the power to choose this path and realize the highest truth through this path. There is the glory of man sung in our literature, and today science and biology also sing that wonderful idea of the uniqueness of man. Sir Julian Huxley says, man is unique in more ways than one. What a wonderful statement. That uniqueness we must realize in ourselves. Otherwise we are today petty-minded, small, full of corruption, evil. For 5 rupees we will do any mischief in this country. I have never seen such evil going around all over India today. Why? Man has been devalued by himself. He doesn't know his own value. He will sell it himself for 1 rupee. That rupee is greater than myself. This will be reversed by Ramakrishna. He will put value on you. You are the supreme focus of value. Money is your servant, not you the servant of the money. That attitude will come to the nation. Then we can set fire to all the evils of poverty, backwardness, and illiteracy, and all those oppressions going on in various segments of society. That strengthening of the human individual is the work of Sri Ramakrishna and Swamiji. It's a beautiful saying of Swamiji. With that, I conclude my speech. It was in the lecture in Kumbhakona in 1897. Teach yourself, teach everyone his real nature. Call upon the sleeping soul and see how it awakes. Power will come, glory will come, purity will come, goodness will come. Everything great and excellent will come when this sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activity. That is the message our people need from childhood onwards today. The literature of Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, and the Holy Mother is a literature of strength, a literature of broad-mindedness. No communal and class distinction can ever remain when you are interested in He was speaking in Patna, Ramakrishna Mission. I was also there at Ramakrishna's birthday. The secretary introduced him that Babu Jagajeevan Ram is the defense minister of India. He has come from Delhi. We are very thankful to him for coming to Patna to address our celebration. Babu Jagajeevan Ram got up and he said, let me correct what the secretary has told about me. I have not come here as the defense minister of India. I have come here to pay my humble tribute, my Shraddhanjali to this great teacher, Sri Ramakrishna. After saying this, he said one more sentence that went deep into my heart. I have quoted it in many lectures in foreign countries also. Jagajeevan Ram said, in Hindi he said at that time, it is my firm conviction that if the teachings of Ramakrishna are spread throughout the world, no country will need a defense minister like me to protect that country there. Yes. Udile Brahme Samashtathai, that famous Qazi Nasrul Islam, Bengal revolutionary poet. In that poem on Ramakrishna said, O Ramakrishna, you have brought the memory of Satya Yuga in this Kali Yuga. Satya Yuga Punya Sruti Kalite Anile Tumi Tapas. Then he said, you saw God and worshipped him with equal faith in temple, church and mosque. That is why your life is a wonderful citadel of pure love and the whole world is at your feet. This is the language used by Qazi Nasrul Islam. That is the birthday here and we have had wonderful programs throughout the day and now we will have the most beautiful program for which many of us have come to hear our Queen of Songs, Srimati M.S. Subbalakshmi.
स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये Bhagavad